your mother? It's time for another episode of Birds with Friends. Just the
Duo.
of feathery brethren, weathering any season to see the Eagles eating teams like Scrammy's top with cheese. It's Philadelphia. Bo and Zach kicking it cooler than
Two.
When still Zach runs off with his valet keys. He's a real nuanced goose. Pull up a branch, get loose. It's time for some juice on some
Birds with Friends.
The early bird gets the worm, but prefers getting turned like a turn on some
Birds with Friends.
Bo and Zach coming at you with stats and things flapping.
We are going to rip out the hearts of other podcasts. We are going to bite off their eyeballs. We're going to start every segment watching the scene from The Last of the Mohicans where the guy takes a bite out of the other guy's heart. We may not be good, but we're going to be nasty. We're going to reflect the blue-collar nature of this city. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Birds with Friends on a Friday afternoon, live from the NovaCare complex for at least two-thirds of us. I guess precisely two-thirds of us. Bo Wulf, Zach Berman, Marissa Dunn here to talk about the things that we've seen at the NovaCare complex over the past couple days. A little bird on the street, bird it through the grapevine. We'll have a little crow thine enemy, talk about Sunday's game against the Chicago Bears. Justin Fields coming off a bye, 8.5-point underdogs against the Eagles on Sunday. We'll have Swooper sorecasting and our crystal ball Eagle predictions. Zach, how do you think Marissa is?
I would imagine she's doing well. She usually is. She's an optimistic person. I don't want to speak on her behalf though.
You nailed it, Zach. Doing great. How are you doing?
Excited for this podcast.
Now, some early criticism on my background. I'm not trying to use that background. I'm trying to give you a peek into what it looks like here at the media setup at the NovaCare complex. I'm not doing a live shot on TV. This is me showing you, taking you behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying?
I think we have differences of styles there, if you will. I specifically chose this setup here because I thought the background was more conducive for a visual platform. You have the ideal background behind you. You just need to position the computer.
I would have to go all the way back. It wouldn't work.
No, what you need is because I've done it in that room before. A matter of fact, if I've done the podcast in that room, what you need to do is the high chair. You put the computer on the high chair. You sit on the low chair. You get real close, and so then that way it's a tight shot with only the background behind you.
No one needs that tight of a shot of me.
I appreciate the effort, Zach.
All right, Zach. I guess we could send it to the Stone Cold Newsman, but I think let's start by talking about the big news in the Eagles locker room today that had everybody talking, and that was the gifts bestowed upon the offensive line by Jalen Hurts.
Let's hear it. This is my favorite time of year.
Now, Marissa, has the Browns offensive line gotten their holiday gifts yet?
So Michael actually came home with his today.
Is this the day? Is this?
It must
is this
be
like a uniform?
It must be a day. Yes. So I'm intrigued to hear what Jalen Hurts got.
Wait, tell us what he got.
Okay, so
we can
this is
compare.
officially going to be my gift. He got a Louis Vuitton duffel bag.
Okay.
That has his initials on them, which are also my
Your
initials.
Okay.
Oh, so he can just gift that
So it's
down.
actually sitting across the table right now. So
Nice. Now,
And just to specify,
hold
is that
on.
from Deshaun or Jacoby?
Yes.
it was from Deshaun, I believe. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Well,
they
this
must
is
have-
very
okay.
interesting, Marissa,
Yeah.
because I think they may have a similar hookup.
That's what
Jalen
that's
Hurts
why I had the reaction. Yep.
Gave the Eagles offensive line the exact same thing: Louis Vuitton
Wow.
duffel bags.
Oh, I don't know if Michael's
Um,
going to feel special now.
And now I don't know if they're embroidered. We don't know the answer to that. I will say I was impressed that this is not just a gift for the starters or even the guys on the active roster. Your Fred Johnsons, your Roderick Johnsons, your Cam Toms, they all got their Louis Vuitton bags as well.
Same over here too. So
They must have some kind of similar hookup. This is interesting. This is
I don't know,
very
but I would
interesting.
love a Louis Vuitton hookup. I do not own any Louis Vuitton, so the fact that like Michael was gifted and got a Louis Vuitton before me, I feel like is a little problematic. So hopefully he'll share the MD bag now for my next trip.
Primarily.
I brought up the Bo. I said to Bo, I said something along the lines of, would you want one of those bags?
No, you said, what would you do with it?
Okay.
And I said I would use it. I mean, what would I do with it? What am I going to do? Paint it? Like
I didn't take Bo as a big Louis Vuitton guy, but
well, yeah. I'm not going to go buy one myself. If someone got me a Louis Vuitton bag, what else would I do with it?
Right.
Put like
I would probably
on it. What do you like? I don't understand the question. What would you do with it? You use it. You don't look a gift horse in the mouth, right?
Yeah. I suppose
Michael just texted me and said,
embarrassed that you wouldn't even use it. You think it's too ostentatious?
I don't want to get into that. Yeah, I mean, I would probably give it to somebody who would appreciate it more than I would, honestly.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a fine answer. But then what would you want
Zach,
that
I
person
feel like
to
you're
do
a
with
stylish guy. You wouldn't walk around with
Use
a Louis
it.
Vuitton bag?
No, I would not. But I mean, I would. Yeah, there's many people who would appreciate it more than I would. The same way if a gift was a new piece of technology, right? Like a new iPhone or something, that I would appreciate, right? So
Michael's gotten a Traeger grill in the past.
Carson gave that out one year as well. Yeah.
Yes.
They
Which
must
we've
have
only unfortunately used once, but
it's like someone's in charge of getting all the quarterbacks there.
Yeah, there's got to be like an agent or a marketing manager or something who has the connections.
Well, this got even more interesting because AJ Brown was like a little bit seriously not happy about it. He's like, "Well, where's our stuff?" And like he was joking, but he was also like a little bit serious. He's like talking about those things are like $3,500. He's like, I got Jalen a Rolex for his birthday. And like he didn't get my birthday's coming up next. He's getting paid this offseason. He better get me something. Like he's saying Jalen always says to me, like, well, I don't have that AJ money. Well, you're gonna have it soon enough. He's like, where's the gifts for the gift for the receivers? What are we, chopped liver? And then of course the other guys were saying, well, you got him a Rolex. No wonder you lead the team in targets. Which probably smart.
That's a good line. That's a really good line. This is good. I think this is real good behind the scenes. Bo is very astute or very perceptive, I should say. Not astute, perceptive. He is astute, but in this manner, he's perceptive of these goings on in the locker room. He's a professional observer, as they like to say.
It was interesting. AJ Brown was like a little bit mad.
Yeah. I thought he was kidding. But...
He's like, Fred Johnson's got one. Fred Johnson was like, he's been on the practice squad 8 different times. I guess that's maybe more Roger. Yeah, Fred. I don't know.
I mean, I'll say there's appreciation for, gifting to the guys that protect the quarterback, that put their body on the line. Not saying
I feel like
it's a little bit.
I feel like it's a little bit less impressive if it's like he got the exact same order as Deshaun Watson, and maybe they both had the same handler, and it was let's just take this together.
The gifts, like you'll see it trickle in throughout the all the different teams, so we can see. I know that we were talking about it on the Jets pod, not specific because I didn't even know about Michael yet, but I think like Zach Wilson got the plane tickets last year, and I said, "Ooh, I wonder who gets the gift this year on the Jets. Like, is it Zach Wilson? Is it Mike White?"
Zach Wilson's got the money; he still has to get them gifts.
Yeah, so we'll see.
I just respect it more if it's not a gift from a sponsor that they have, right? Like if they're just giving out.
See, I don't think Louis Vuitton though is.
So that's what I'm saying.
Sponsor.
Exactly.
Like they're too bougie to be.
Yeah. I think he's genuinely getting the gift for them.
Yeah, I feel like Traeger grills maybe. Like I don't know. I mean, I don't want to say.
Yeah, when Carson Wentz got the what was it?
The grill.
He got something else too. The coolers.
The core. Yeah,
like a Yeti.
A place that was Yeti cooler. Like which is a sponsor of his. Like
I don't think Louis Vuitton really like. I mean, I don't know. I don't have any myself until now, but I don't think they really like. I don't know, like throw things around like that, but I mean, I could be wrong. Not sure.
Well, nonetheless, nice gesture from Jalen, and it certainly seemed appreciated. And a source of
somebody, Kelsey was like, "What am I going to do with this?" But
So when
he's
Kelsey
like you.
says that, yeah, when Kelsey says that, you like, oh, this is, and then when I say it, you mock me for.
No, I'm not mocking you. But the question, the way that you asked it was, what would you do with it? Like, what do you mean? What would
Yes.
I do with it? I'm not going to throw it in the garbage.
Well, you're going to the airport in about an hour and a half. Would you be rolling through the airport with a Louis Vuitton bag?
No, because I want a roller bag for going through the airport.
Okay. There you go. Okay, so a model of efficiency.
It could be your carry-on. It could be your carry-on.
Yeah, I do think that is the problem with a duffel, is that like it looks nice, but it's a little bit impractical sometimes. It's good. I like a duffel for a car trip.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
That's
or
when
like
I
an
a
overnight.
duffel.
So
Yeah.
so my rolling bag, it has like the suit compartment, right? Because I wear a sport jacket on the road. So when I don't need the jacket, then I like the duffel because it can sometimes, fit either under the seat or it can just be easier to carry around. If you're going on a weekend trip, then you don't need the full roll-on bag.
Mm.
So, anyways, the Eagles have a big game this week.
There was a funny, and so then they were talking about the targets, and like Devontae Smith was like very aware of AJ Brown having more targets than him, and this was all in like very joking context. But then it was funny because like Quez and Zach Pascal were in the conversation too, where they were like, "You guys get so many targets. We're hoping for like 1 or 2 a game." Like they're complaining about who gets more, and Goddard's talking about how like there are entire drives where it's just Devontae Smith. So good peek behind the scenes. We'll see. Hopefully they get a gift too.
They speak just like us, right? Talking about the target distribution. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I don't think they speak just like us, but I understand your point.
I meant the topics are similar to our topics because we've discussed target distribution many times on this show.
Mm-hmm.
And perhaps that's something we can discuss as we get onto the game here.
You think they talk about mistresses too?
I hope not.
I hope not either, and neither do we. By the way, there's nothing to discuss there. So,
all right, let's get this train back on the tracks, and let's send it over to the Stone Cold Newsman for the latest happenings with the Philadelphia Eagles. Ladies and gentlemen, Zach Berman.
the Philadelphia Eagles had their final practice of the week this afternoon, and Dallas Goedert on the field at practice, not yet on the 53-man roster, but certainly seems like it's trending in that direction. They have until Saturday to do so, and they have an open spot to put him on. Further, Reed Blankenship, as Bo predicted, continues to be sidelined here. It's looking unlikely he will play. The Eagles have a decision to make there. Do they activate do they elevate Anthony Harris? And if they do that, they wouldn't be able to elevate Christian Ellis. Do they move Josiah Scott over? We're assuming, or presuming, I should say, Kayvon Wallace is going to be the starting safety. So something to monitor there as well. Otherwise, nothing to worry about, it seems, with Lane Johnson, with some of the other injured players. The Eagles are getting they have a relatively healthy 53-man roster. And that's kind of the big news here at the NovaCare Complex. Otherwise, it's the gifts that the offensive linemen are receiving. Back to you in the studio, Bo.
And thank you for the gift of your presence, Zach.
You're welcome.
What do you think they're going to do? You said it. Is your expectation Kayvon Wallace is the starting safety in this game and plays, 100% of the snaps, and there's not a rotation? Do you think that Josiah Scott's going to be the backup? Do you think that now you mentioned there's only 2 elevations they can do? Presumably one of them is going to be for Brett Kern as the punter.
Yep.
Then the other one is either Christian Ellis or Anthony Harris. If it's Christian Ellis, that means that probably Josiah Scott is your only backup safety, and you need to dip into emergency plans with like Avonte Maddox or Zach McPherson if something else happens. Or you bring up Anthony Harris, and you're a little bit shorthanded on special teams. You get Sean Bradley back, who didn't play last week, so maybe you think you can borrow from that. How do you think this all plays out?
So based on the roster composition at this point, I would expect that Christian Ellis stays on the practice squad this week, does not get the ovation. They have Sean Bradley and Gardner-Johnson. Bradley, like you said, missed last week's game. Johnson left last week's game early. They both seem on track to play. Spoke to Bradley this week. Certainly seems that way. So I would imagine that they're okay with linebackers there. And I know Christian Ellis would be up for special teams, but it's more the spots you divvy up for each position. I would think either Anthony Harris or Andre Sacheret would get the promotion on for safety. Perhaps it's Sacheret because he can help you on special teams and help you with safety. Perhaps they think Harris can help you on special teams too. Harris certainly knows the scheme, has experience in this defense, has experience in the stadium. But I'm expecting Kayvon Wallace to be the starter this weekend. And like you said, Brett Kern gets one of those spots I should say one of the practice squad elevations, and Dallas Goedert goes on the 53. Now, the thing to monitor too is I don't think they would do this, but because they believe they believe in Tyree Jackson, and Tyree Jackson's someone that they have optimism in or they have excitement about, but they are deeper at tight end. Now that Goddard's back, you're going to have 4 tight ends. And that's a higher number than they typically carry on the roster. So if you're looking for, could they make a move, tight end would be probably the spot. But again, they like to carry those guys for developmental purposes.
Yeah, it could be Tyree if you make a move. Could be Trey Sermon.
Mm-hmm.
It could be Ian Book. I don't think that they would do that. I don't think they would have carried him this long just to do that now.
Also, they want 3 quarterbacks here, and you don't know if Book passes through. And then if he doesn't, you have to go find one. And it's harder to find a practice squad quarterback this time of year. So
it doesn't make a lot of sense to do Janarius Robinson because you could have just put him on IR last week instead of elevating him back or activating him.
Josh Jobe,
could be Josh Jobe, but again, why not just put him on IR if that was the case?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's tough to find that spot right now. I guess we'll see. I think that's interesting,
and it's a good problem to have. I understand. She always said when a coach says it's a good problem to have, it's not usually a good problem to have. But there have been years when the Eagles, had like 5 options to cut, right? And that's not necessarily the case right now. It's a better roster. Now they do have some spots, like we said, tight end, quarterback, running back, where they're keeping players for developmental purposes. I think in the case of quarterback and running back, that's also being mindful of their contracts and what's ahead. I think some of those guys, I say some of those guys, Book and Sermon, the thoughts are on the 2023 roster. You can't necessarily say that at tight end because all those guys are under contract next year, right? Stoll,
that's true.
Sol Jackson, Calcaterra. So that's the position where they haven't really had to decide yet whether they're going to have 4 tight ends on the roster. This is the first time because Jackson's return corresponded with Goddard's injury.
The other one that if you got really cute about it, could make a lot of sense, and I don't think they would do this, but along those lines of thinking about the roster next season, Sua Opeta is on an expiring contract. He'll be a free agent, and he's been inactive. So, you're not going to borrow again. This is a Super Bowl season, right? You don't want to have your number 2 backup guard not available just to be able to bring up, Christian Ellis or whoever. But if you were looking for a surprise one, I think that would make sense because if he gets through waivers, you bring him back to the practice squad. If not, you have other options, and you're going to lose him this offseason anyway, most likely. It's a little bit cold-hearted, but
that is why. What's the nickname you gave yourself? King of the Beats. That is why you are the king of the beats.
Not anymore. I am a king of the beats emeritus, but it's not an active title at the moment.
You and Howie think very similarly. So
we don't know that. I'm just speculating that.
He
might not be considering that at all.
In the past, you have. Take a compliment, why don't you?
Okay.
Comparing you to the executive of the year this year. You're right.
Yeah. Thank God that Gary Vincent trade happened a year ago.
I saw was it Noah Becker who said we're the only podcast that free litigates, or whatever the term he used, the Gary Vincent trade.
Lovingly, yeah. He said, that's why he's a DFOP. Well, speaking of contract stuff in next offseason, Zach, I wanted to ask you about your TJ Edwards story, which dropped today.
Yep.
We like a hometown hook, so that's a good reason to get into TJ Edwards. But he has always been, as you wrote about, a player who gets better as the season goes on, and often takes a role that he was deemed not worthy of. And this season has been different. He's been good. He's been the number one linebacker all along, but he is on an expiring contract. Kaiser White is on an expiring contract. Nakobe Dean is here to presumably take a spot at some point moving forward. Do you think that these are the last months of TJ Edwards as an Eagle?
So it's such a fascinating conversation to have for a few reasons. A, the way the Eagles value the position. We know they don't. They were, it's the expression that, well, Joe Biden uses it, but I used it actually on the podcast with the Bears the other day, that don't tell me what you value, show me your budget. And, I'll tell you what you value. The Eagles are 29th in positional spending at linebacker this year, or I'm sorry, 28th in positional spending at linebacker this year. They were 29th last year. Okay. They haven't spent a first or second round pick on an off-ball linebacker in the first two rounds since Michael Kendricks in 2012, and in a first round since Jerry Robinson in 1979. The organization does not pay premium prices for linebackers. They paid Nigel Bradham and Michael Kendricks were really the only times they gave their guys second deals. They let and I should say Nigel Bradham wasn't even a second deal. It was a second deal here, but they signed him on the cheap from Buffalo when he became available. Point being that the reason the Eagles can spend on the defensive line and at corner is they don't spend at linebacker. But they're in a situation where they have they have stability at the position, which they haven't had in the past. And these guys are playing well, and it's a big part of why they're a good defense this year. So do you let them both walk? And I should say the other complicating factor is they have 7 starters who are free agents on defense, right? So you have both your safeties, you have one of your cornerbacks, you have both your linebackers, you have key players in your defensive line, including both your defensive tackles. Even when you look at the reserve defensive tackles, the reserve defensive ends, you have Brandon Graham. So you I didn't even consider Graham among the starters, but he's a key player. But you have Fletcher Cox, Javon Hargrave. You have TJ Edwards, Kaiser White, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, Marcus Epps, James Bradbury. Like, they have big decisions to make here, not to mention Jason Kelce, potential if Jason Kelce returns, not to mention, what they did with Miles Sanders, not to mention a contract they're going to have to give to Jalen Hurts, right? There's only so much money that can be allocated here. So I would say it could be one of those things where they want to keep one of them, but they have a number they won't go above. So whichever one takes it. TJ Edwards is objectively, like, even if I remove the fact that I wrote the story today, he's playing well, number one. And he's the type of player that the organization likes to point to. Homegrown, product of scouting and developing. Okay. Those are the types of players that you typically would like to reward. But what I also mentioned in the story is the very reason why he's had this chance to start during these past 3 years is because of the way the organization values the position. It would be much harder for an undrafted defensive end or an undrafted defensive tackle to work his way up the depth chart. So they could just keep going through this cycle of trying to find linebackers on the cheap.
Let's go through these. Let's do a little impromptu game.
Okay.
Okay.
Should we get to a break and do it on the other side of the break? Or?
Let's do it now. We'll do the break. We'll come back. We'll talk Bears, and then we'll do break, and then we'll do Swooper.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I guess we could do it after. Then you have time to prepare. I'm going to give you. Here's what we're going to do after the break. A little tease. We're going to go through the impending free agents on defense, and we're going to rank them not in order, but like 1 through 5. 1 being definitely not coming back, 2 being probably not coming back, 3 being 50-50, 4 being probably coming back, 5 being definitely coming back. We'll do that.
We're doing all of them.
On the other side. The defensive guys, yes.
Okay, sounds good.
This holiday season, the best deal in wireless can only be found at Mint Mobile. Right now, when you switch to Mint Mobile and buy any 3-month plan, you'll get another 3 months for free. As the first company to sell premium wireless service online only, Mint Mobile lets you order and activate from home with eSIM, while saving on tons of phone plans starting at just $15 a month. I've been using Mint Mobile long before this holiday deal, and I have to say, it's the perfect time to switch. Mint Mobile's best offer of the year is here. For a limited time, buy any 3-month plan and get 3 more months for free. By going online with eSIM and eliminating the traditional costs of retail, Mint Mobile passes significant savings onto you. All plans come with unlimited talk and text and high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and switch easily and effortlessly with eSIM. Or if you need a new device, for a limited time, get 6 months of free service when you buy a select device and plan. Switch to Mint Mobile and get premium wireless service starting at just $15 a month. For a limited time, buy 3-month Mint Mobile plan and get 3 more months free by going to mintmobile.com/birds. That's mintmobile.com/birds. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/birds. In baseball, what team won the first World Series? Play Sports Trivia Star now and prove your knowledge. Sports Trivia Star is a free mobile trivia game that tests your knowledge in basketball, football, soccer, and baseball. Choose which sport you know the best to test your knowledge. It sounds simple, but the questions increase in difficulty as you progress. Collect a bonus every day you play more. In addition, you'll have an opportunity to test your general sports knowledge with a question of the day from a random sports category. I love playing trivia, so this is so cool because honestly, I don't know much about geography or world history, but sports, that's my area of expertise, so this is so cool. If you like sports like I do, you'll love Sports Trivia Star. Download it today to challenge yourself. Just go to the Apple or Google store and search for Sports Trivia Star. Download Sports Trivia Star for free today and get ready to flex your brain muscles. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Unfortunately, life doesn't come with a user manual. So when it's not working for you, it's normal to feel stuck. Navigating any of life's challenges can make you feel unsure. Whether it's a career change, a new relationship, or becoming a parent, therapists are trained to help you find out the cause of challenging emotions and learn productive coping skills, which makes therapy the closest thing to a guided tour of the complex engine called you. This time of year can be so stressful. The holidays, seeing family, traveling, working. Therapy is so important to get those feelings out and enjoy this time of year. As the world's largest therapy service, BetterHelp has matched 3 million people with professionally licensed and vetted therapists available 100% online. Plus, it's affordable. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to match with a therapist. If things aren't clicking, you can easily switch to a new therapist anytime. It couldn't be simpler. No waiting rooms, no traffic, no endless searching for the right therapist. Learn more and save 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/BWF. That's BETTERHELP.com/BWF.
All right, welcome back to Birds with Friends. Bo, Zach, and Marissa. The break allowed us to come up with a name for this game. So welcome to the Shrikert Squale. Shrike, type of bird. Quail, type of bird. Likert scale, kind of thing that a guy who used to be on the show liked. Likert, the Shrikert Squale. All right, Zach.
I'm glad you spent the ad break doing the serious stuff there, Bo.
That's what it's all about. That's why people tune in, right?
Yes. I mean, your creativity with the bird titles still amazes me years in. So,
okay. So a 1, definitely not coming back. A 2, probably not coming back. A 3, totally up in the air. A 4, probably coming back. A 5, definitely coming back. Who got it?
I have
Oh,
it.
I don't hear. Oh, Zach is very delayed for me. Is he delayed for you, Marissa?
Yeah, I was actually just gonna message him. Your mouth isn't moving.
What? My mouth isn't. Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Should I
think
jump
you
off
should.
and back on?
Yeah. You know what? Something sounded like it was like unplugging with his mic.
Mm.
There's a little static.
All right, Marissa, are you ready to play the game?
I'm ready.
Okay. Let's start with Robert Quinn.
Oof.
Robert Quinn.
I'm gonna go.
Acquired for a 4th-round pick. Barely playing and on injured reserve.
What's his injury again?
Old. Old body.
Ed, how much is he making this year?
A lot, but it doesn't really matter what he's making this year.
Okay, I'm gonna go with 2.
I think he's a 1.
A 1. Okay.
I think he's definitely not.
I think
coming
there's
back.
a chance, because
Yeah, you're right.
they went for the trade, but like you said, he really hasn't done much since the trade, and depending on what he's going to cost, I would say low.
Crazier things have happened. Yeah,
It's low on the
he
scale.
seems unlikely to come back. Zach, do we have you?
I hope so. I think
Yes.
I had tabs open because I
You
was
sound better.
I was looking up some of the free agencies, so I felt like Bo with all the tabs there.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Zach, where do you have Robert Quinn?
I would have him as 1. He's
Yes.
not returning. Yep.
Okay. Next up, let's stay on the defensive line. Let's go with Fletcher Cox.
Ooh, this is one of the biggest questions of the offseason. Career Eagle. He and I came in on the beat together the same year.
You both are heroes of Yazoo City.
No, I am far from that. So I'll go with a 3 here.
You think it's a 3? I think I
Yes.
would go 2, but I think 3 might be better because if he comes back, does he really want to play somewhere else? And do the Eagles really want to let him play somewhere else?
Exactly. Yeah.
But also, it has felt all along like this was the final ride.
And he is a prideful person.
I'd put it at like a 2.45.
And if they win it all, does he just say,
Right.
That's a good
go
thought.
out on top?
I think I would lean further towards 2 than 3, but I think it's in the middle there somewhere.
He just had his birthday.
And
Yeah, nice.
Did he get a Louis Vuitton bag?
I don't know. I don't know what I know what kind of cake he had, but he had a nice birthday. We were talking about it today.
is that from Instagram or like he told you what kind of cake he had?
The cake was from Instagram. The birthday, we talked about it today. Yeah.
Okay. How about Javon Hargrave?
Javon Hargrave, I would put as a 4 or a 5. I think he's the player that they most try to sign, and if they want to sign you, typically they find a way to sign you. I don't think I think there could be a big market there, but I don't think there's going to be a team more interested than what the Eagles are.
I think he's a 4 as well.
Okay.
Because I presume that Fletcher Cox is leaving and they need more bodies there. I think he's a 4. How about TJ Edwards? Just talked about him.
Yeah, so I know you're supposed to take a stand here, but I would put 3 because I don't know, like right in the middle.
And what about Kaiser White?
3 as well because
If you had to put one more likely than the other, how would you rank it?
TJ, I'd put more likely because I think they like Nakobe in Kaiser's spot. Now, Nakobe can play either spot, but I think they like Nakobe in Kaiser's spot. And TJ has such responsibility with this defense that I think there would be a disruption if he's not there.
I think I would put TJ at about a 2.9 and Kaiser at like a 2.6. So I agree. But I think it's possible they move on from both. Don't you think so?
Yeah, I certainly think it's possible. I don't think it's a good path, but I certainly think it's possible.
Okay. How about James Bradbury, ya boy?
2. I think James is going to get paid.
I think so too, but that's why I think this is a true 3, because I think they would like to have him back at the right price, and I think they're willing to pay him. But I think that if he is if he wants to hit the open market, I think there will be a team who will pay him more.
James he's a nice man.
I like James Bradbury a lot. He's like he's never put upon that you want to talk to him. He's always engaging and listens to the question. I'm with you. I like it, James Bradbury.
Yes. Yep.
You called that one well.
Thank you. A rare compliment from Bo. I appreciate that.
I compliment you all the time. How about Marcus Epps?
I think that's a 4.
I think so too. I think
he's more valuable to them than he is elsewhere.
The things that I said earlier in the season that I think he's the most likely to be extended midseason. And it is kind of weird, don't you think, that we're already midway through December and they haven't signed any of these guys to an extension? Seems a little bit un-Howie-like, right?
A bit, but perhaps they're sensitive to the fact that they have so many of these guys as pending free agents. Now,
right,
they were in this situation.
You don't want to offend the guys who you don't sign.
Exactly.
Like how mad would CJ Gardner-Johnson be if you extend Marcus Epps midseason? That's an interesting point.
And if you extend TJ Edwards, it's like, well, Kaiser White was like, all right, well, the
that's a good point.
Me. So yeah,
let's let it all. We don't want to mess with any juju right now. Let's let it all play out. Let's let it settle. Yeah, I think that there could be something to that.
And so I'm thinking to the in-season extensions that they made in 2017 were to Tim Jernigan and to Alshon Jeffrey. And I don't know about this now. They didn't have the other free agent receivers then because Torrey Smith they traded, and
right.
Nelson was under contract for
and
another
Alshon
year.
Signed that deal and famously said, "I think I'm happy to be in Philadelphia. We're looking forward to this. It's gonna be a good time."
No, I actually had a really good conversation with Alshon about that. I remember specifically we were in the LA Angels locker room, and
what?
I suppose so. You were in there as well.
No, I wasn't. That was when Casey was born.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
I did not go on the West Coast swing.
Okay, so then you were not in there, and that was a great week to get guys in the locker room. And I had a really good conversation with Alshon about his contract, about why he signed it then, why he didn't wait for the market. Yeah, it's a good conversation.
Okay. All right. How about CJ Gardner-Johnson?
I think this is like 3-4. So I guess a 3.5 if I can do that. I think he's someone that they would want to re-sign, but he's someone who there's going to be a market for, right? And he's someone who you're going to have to pay market dollar.
Now, who knows what happens between here and free agency? Lots of these guys will sign, but safety looks like one of the deepest classes of free agency. If you look ahead, there are a lot of guys. This is the only one where I really disagree with you. I think it's more likely than not that CJ Gardner-Johnson does not return to the Eagles. I would put him much more like the 2 level.
Interesting. And they didn't pay that much that in terms of draft pick compensation. I think it's someone that they would want. I just think he's going to get paid.
I think he's going to get paid. I don't think he's if you're going to really pay a guy, he's the guy to pay. And I don't know. I think the personality stuff. I don't think you want to bring him. I think you get your good year with him and move on, and you don't want to overextend the invitation until things might turn sour. That's just sort of my read on things.
I just think if you have a 25-year-old safety, it's been a hard position for them to find.
Yeah,
I don't know. Something to think about.
Brandon Graham?
4.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, why not just let him come back? It's not going to cost that much money, right? He's still playing fine.
He'd be so happy to just keep coming to the locker room, right? So
let's quickly. We've already done it. Let's do the 3 guys on offense who are sort of interesting. Miles Sanders.
2.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's a 2. I think they let him see what's out there, and they're willing to maybe bring him back if the price is right. But I don't.
So what would they do at running back? You think they would draft somebody?
Draft. Yeah, I think they'll draft somebody. Yeah, I think.
And there are also plenty of running backs in free agency. Is it the worst thing in the world if you sign one of those guys for $1 million and then $2 billion and then draft someone in the 3rd round?
Yeah, I think they're gonna address the position in the draft, and it's a good running back draft class, and they have draft capital. I think that 2nd round pick or the 3rd round pick. That's a running back this year.
Isaac Seumalo?
And by the way, good for Miles if he goes on and gets paid, right? He's having a good
Absolutely.
year in his contract year.
Well, yeah, you want running backs to get paid the one chance they get.
Yes. Isaac Sayamalu. 3. I think they like him. The question is they have internal replacements. They can put Jack Driscoll there. They can put somebody else there. But I think Isaac's someone who fits in here.
Yeah, I think it probably depends on what happens with Jason Kelce. Like, if Kelce comes back, maybe you try to find a spot for Cam Jurgens to play there, because you don't want the second-round pick, wasting away for 2 years. If Kelce retires, then you probably keep Sayamalu, and you don't want to have another replacement.
That's a good point. Yeah, Kelce contingent. I like that.
But I would say I would put it at like a 2.8. And then last one, Gardner Minshew.
Oh no, he's gone. 1.
I'd say 1. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Can I do a 0?
No, you can't do a 0. It's a scale from 1 to 5.
Okay, so I was trying to do it for emphasis. Yeah, and good for Gardner. I think he goes to a place where he's a better chance to compete. And I think the Eagles have backup competition between Ian Book and maybe someone that they sign or someone that they draft. And if you did not get a chance to listen to the last segment of the Wednesday podcast with Kalen Kaler, we got into backup quarterback profiles that I think would be good to listen to here.
All right, Zach, let's talk about this Bears team and the matchup. Now, on the Eagles side of the ball, when they have the ball going up against the Bears defense, it is a little bit hard to see where the Bears stop the Eagles. They come in ranked 32nd in defensive DVOA, and that is not just how it's been over the course of the season. It's also how it's been in the second half of the season. Since week 10, they're 32nd in defensive DVOA, 31st against the pass, and I think 29th against the run. They're not good. Their defensive line, as we talked about on the Bears podcast, is really bad, and that's obviously a bad matchup for them. Jaquan Brisker has played okay, but their linebackers are bad. Their corners are bad. They can't stop the run. They can't stop the pass. Barring turnovers, it's just, I find it hard to see how the Eagles don't move the ball at will against this team. Now they're coming off the bye. That's a complicating factor. And you've got Matt Eberflus going up against Nick Sirianni. Presumably he knows him well. But aside from like intangible, unquantifiable stuff like that, I find it's hard to see how they stop them without it being, negative 10 degrees and 40-mile-an-hour winds.
So Jalen Hurts does this thing in his press conference, or he did this thing in his press conference, where he didn't like that no one asked about the defense. So he said, "I'll give you guys one chance to do it." And I got to say to Jalen, I think part of this was us being polite to you because what are you going to say? And he did he's very generally when he was asked about this defense, but there's not much to write home about with the Bears defense, right? It's not that you're looking over. This is not a good defense.
Marissa, how's that going on your end here?
Not great. Zach, you're breaking up a little bit.
I jump off.
I was trying to let him finish his thought before I sent him a message, but yeah.
Trying to look out for the live viewers. But yeah, you're probably right. We could just let it go, edit and post. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But this
That's okay. It's okay. He's back.
He's popping back in.
How am I doing?
Not so great.
It might be your cord.
Do you want to come in here?
My cord is dangling here. So is it my mic? It's the problem?
Yeah, because it's not breaking up right now.
She says yes.
Yes. No, I heard her. So my mic is the problem?
It sounds better now.
Yeah, I think it's your mic.
Okay. Yeah, might need to get a new mic, Marissa.
Yeah.
It's
sounds good now.
Sorry about that.
Well, you can't have hers. They're married.
I need a new microphone. So Jalen Hurts, did you get this thing where he does this thing at his press conferences?
Yeah.
Where he says, "Why didn't you ask me about the Bears defense?" and so on and so forth. Well, there's not much that can be said about this Bears defense. It's not a good defense. Schematically, Schematically, it's fine, and there's some things that they do that present some challenges. But they're not taking the ball over. They're not taking the ball away enough. They're not getting to the quarterback enough, right? They're giving up points. So the Eagles should be moving the ball quite a bit.
Other side of the ball.
Is there still latency with me talking? I see Colin saying that.
There is, yes, but
you sound
that's
good
okay.
though. Yeah.
Okay.
On the other side of the ball, the Bears have been okay. They had that. It was a little bit similar to the Eagles last year, where they come out of the bye and change their offensive style. The Bears had that mini bye midway through the season, and since then they have leaned much more into the Justin Fields running aspect of the offense, and that has worked well. They are 9th in rushing DVOA over the course of the season. If you look at just the second half of the season, they're all the way up to 12th in offensive DVOA, 5th rushing DVOA. And this is one of the few areas where the Eagles have struggled this season against quarterback runs. The Eagles rank 31st in EPA per play and 32nd in success rate. Now, I think that that's probably a little bit overstated because they haven't really played a ton of rushing quarterbacks. They played Kyler Murray. They played Daniel Jones. And everybody else is sort of like, it's those Ryan Tannehill scrambles where, okay, you sort of take that because, those plays count too. But if you're trying to, you really can only stop so many things. And if Ryan Tannehill beats you with his legs 3 times, that's not the worst thing in the world. So I think it's a little bit overstated. However, it's also true. And they're going to be playing in this game depleted at safety. I think this is a real interesting problem to see how Jonathan Gannon tries to solve it. I think that's what I'm most curious about in this game on that side of the ball.
Great point. And the emphasis last week against the Giants, you heard this in Nick Sirianni's post-game speech with the team, was keeping Daniel Jones in the pocket. That's obviously going to be the emphasis here. Longtime listeners of this, or not, I wouldn't even say long time. If you've listened to this podcast for more than 2 years, Justin Fields is a quarterback that I was bullish on coming out in the draft. And I think you were seeing that he forces teams to change.
Taking a victory lap already?
I wouldn't call it a victory lap. I think it's important for full disclosure to acknowledge that this is somebody who I think very highly of his talent, and he forces defenses to change their structure, to change the way.
You said the Eagles should have taken him in 2021.
Yes, and I was wrong there because Jalen Hurts proved to be the franchise.
Not necessarily.
No, if what I said to them was that it's hard to find that quarterback. They have to be really confident that Jalen Hurts can become that quarterback to pass on Justin Fields. Well, to their credit, Jalen Hurts has become that quarterback, right? Jalen Hurts.
But I don't think they made that decision because they were sure that Jalen Hurts was going to be better.
No, but the fact that Jalen Hurts had this chance, Jalen Hurts became this player. If Justin Fields was here, Jalen Hurts would not have that chance. So they made the nice pick. They made the right pick.
Well, it also could have Micah Parsons.
Yeah, true. But Justin Fields, I think, is going to be a tough player in this league for a long time. He changes defenses. He's so dynamic with the ball. He's got an outstanding arm as well. I think he's tough. And so he doesn't have the talent around him. We discussed this on the Bears pod, that second round pick for Chase Claypool. I don't know what they thought Claypool was going to be. He hasn't been that. They don't really have weapons right now. They don't have an offensive line in front of him, but I think they have nice pieces. I think they have the most important piece, which is the quarterback. And that's something where Ryan Poles and Ian Cunningham can build around him.
Yeah, I got to say, this is not a surprise because I wasn't as high on him as you were, but I'm also not all the way sold on Justin Fields as a franchise quarterback just yet.
That's okay. I'll be happy to reside on Fields Island while you're I don't know which quarterback are
I don't know. It doesn't feel like an island. It feels like you got a lot of
Sure.
people on that.
I think you're a Zach Wilson guy coming out.
Please. Nobody in the world was more sure that this was going to be the exact scenario that Zach Wilson was going to land in than I was.
Oh no, actually, you were Trey Lance, and that's a fine
Of
one
the
too.
choices, I was,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I still think Trey Lance, but I think Trey Lance is gonna be a good player. But I think if I'm a team, so as a quick aside, because I'm talking to the power rankings guy here who knows the league, if I'm a team in the
Don't
quarterback,
patronize me.
if I'm a team that needs a quarterback this offseason and San Francisco goes far with Brock Purdy and say they turn to Brock Purdy, I am calling the 49ers and trying to get Trey Lance. Like, I very much believe in Trey Lance.
Yeah, I agree with that. See if you can pry him loose.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else on the Bears side of the ball? This should be a game for the Eagles pass rush. Justin Fields gets sacked at a higher rate than any quarterback since David Carr, rather, in 2005. He gets sacked a ton. That offensive line is not very good. So you would imagine this is a game where your Josh Sweats and Hassan Reddick can rack up those bad boys. Maybe Brandon Graham has a chance to get his double digits.
2 quick points on the Bears defense. Jaquan Brisker, who I think Shield was very high on, if memory serves from our rankings. He's been a good player for them. I think that was a good pick. And actually, he's someone who has a background with Miles Sanders, both from same area in Pittsburgh. Miles is eager to see him this weekend. And then I'll say Jack Sanborn, the undrafted linebacker who has become their starter there. Very similar to story to TJ Edwards, actually coached by the same high school coach. Both went to Wisconsin. Sanborn replaced Edwards at Wisconsin. Both went undrafted. Both find their way into the starting lineup. And Sanborn, Adam Johns from The Athletic had a real good piece recently on Sanborn. So 2 guys there who I would pay attention to on the Bears defense.
Okay. All right. Good stuff, Zach. Let's take a little break, come back, do some Swooper, some crystal balled eagle. Zach is back, only 4 points. There's 4 weeks left in the regular season and all the playoffs to come. So a lot of hooch left on the line. You know what really gets my grouse? Cheap razors. The nicks, the cuts, the irritation. Give me a break with that garbanzo beans nonsense. Well, that's where Henson Shaving comes in. Henson Shaving is a family-owned aerospace parts manufacturer that has made parts for the International Space Station and Mars rover, and now they are bringing precision engineering to your shaving experience. Think about that. The ISS and your face, both equally important. Razor blades are shaped like diving boards. Did you know that? And you don't want a Greg Louganis situation on your hands. The longer the board, the more wobble. The more wobble, the more nicks, cuts, and scrapes. A bad shave isn't a blade problem, it's an extension problem. That's why, by using aerospace-grade CNC machines, Henson makes metal razors that extend just 0.0013 inches, which is less than the thickness of a human hair. That means a secure and stable blade with a vibration-free shave. And guess what, people? It gets better. The razor has built-in channels to evacuate hair and cream, which makes clogging virtually impossible. All of this in a little itty-bitty razor. Can you imagine the precision of that engineering? Seriously, Henson Shaving wants the best razor, not the best razor business. That means no plastic, no subscriptions, no proprietary blades, and no planned obsolescence. The Henson razor works with standard dual-edged blades to give you that old-school shave with the benefits of new-school tech. Once you own a Henson razor, it's only about $3 to $5 per year to replace the blades. So, it's time to say NO to subscriptions and YES to a razor that will last you a lifetime. Visit hensonshaving.com/birds to pick the razor for you and use code BIRDS, and you'll get 2 years worth of blades free with your razor. Just make sure to add them to your cart. That's 100 free blades, 100 free blades! When you head to hensonshaving.com/birds and use code BIRDS.
So Saturday night, my wife and I wanted to have a nice dinner, but we were eating at home. We didn't have a babysitter, so we couldn't go out. You know what we did? we had the steakhouse experience in our own home with Omaha Steaks. That's right, we grilled Omaha Steaks, and you can too. The holidays are here. Achieve gifting greatness when you give the gift of perfectly aged, tender, and delicious Omaha Steaks. The steak experts at Omaha Steaks have put together special curated gift packages to help take the guesswork out of gifting and make you a holiday hero. Go to omahasteaks.com and use code BIRDS at checkout to get $30 off your order. Send an assortment of mouth-watering favorites guaranteed to impress, like the legendary Butcher's Cut Filet Mignon, air-chilled boneless chicken, ultra-juicy burgers, and even easy-to-prepare comfort meals that are ready in a flash. Omaha Steaks is ready to ship your order right away, so shop early and beat the shipping rush. Go to omahasteaks.com and use promo code BIRDS at checkout. Omaha Steaks is a gift from the heart, a gift that will be remembered with every unforgettable bite. Order with complete confidence today, knowing you're ordering the very best. Visit omahasteaks.com, use promo code BIRDS at checkout to get an extra $30 off your order.
The holidays aren't all sleigh bells and mistletoe. There's also airports, shopping malls, and dining tables crowded with people, some of which you're glad to see only once a year. Give yourself the ultimate gift of stress-free holiday with Next Evo Naturals fast-absorbing CBD products. Next Evo's Stress CBD Complex Gummies are clinically proven to have 4 times better absorption than standard CBD. No other CBD brand can promise that. I know I am personally so stressed out this time of year, and Next Evo Naturals is so great because it helps with stress, trouble sleeping, and it's fast-acting and absorbs better than any kind of CBD. Next Evo's Smart Sorb technology delivers CBD to your system as little as 10 minutes, unlike any other CBD brands. Help fight holiday stress with Next Evo Naturals Stress CBD Complex Gummies featuring ashwagandha, clinically proven to reduce stress by 70%. Get smarter CBD from Next Evo Naturals and get up to 25% off subscription orders of $40 or more at nextevo.com/podcast. Promo code BIRDS. That's nextevo.com/podcast. Promo code BIRDS.
All right. Welcome back to Birds with Friends. Gotta take Zach's advice. It still looks kind of wonky, don't you think?
Yeah, it actually doesn't look. I don't know. I think I don't
This
know.
is I can get. This is as high as the chair gets. I don't know what you want me to do.
Your computer is on a chair that's high.
Yeah,
And what chair are you sitting on?
a lower chair.
You're taller than me. Maybe that's the reason.
Maybe. All right. Well, it's everybody's favorite time of the week. It's time for Swooper Storecasting. Zach, start us off.
5.
What?
Wait,
Dennis, it just ruined Zach's weekend.
Swooper.
Oh! All right, Zach has his pardon turkeys, all 32 of them, with which to bid this week. I've got 24. I used up all of mine. Marissa's got 31 turkeys, and everything is on the line here. I've got 8 points. Zach's got 4. Marissa's got 1. And away we go. I think it might be my turn to go first this week, so I can lead off. I say a kick in this game, whether that be a field goal, an extra point, or a punt, or a kickoff, hits a post or a pylon.
Mm.
A little double
So are you
doink.
referencing the double doink?
Yes, I am. Yes. Who's got the scratching of the mic?
Yeah, I
going
was
on
just
right
going to
there?
say.
Oh, sorry. I'm writing. Sorry. I won't write on the table.
Unbelievable.
I'll go
I'll say
one.
one. Oh, Marissa got it first. Looking for a doink. Looking for a doink. One going once. One going twice. Sold to Marissa.
Wow. So it's
All
just
right.
got to hit the crossbar or anything like that.
Or the post or the pylon.
The pylon.
Yeah, I'm throwing pylon in there for you.
Okay. Take that.
Okay. Zach, why don't you go next?
Okay. The Bears score fewer points than the temperature at game time. And the temperature is what is shown on the official box score, the game book that they give that the NFL puts out says the temperature at the game. We're not talking wind chill or anything like that. We're just talking the recorded temperature of the game.
I wish that I was able to play a separate Swooper game in which I was able to predict what your swoopers were going to be, because that would have definitely been on my list.
All right. So the high on weather.com is 27.
Okay. It's like one of those things that people always say that the weather is something everyone has in common. So always talk about the weather with people. If you get on the elevator, what do you say? Can you believe the weather?
Oof, how about this heat?
Yes. Yeah. 3.
Now this is the Bears score fewer points.
Yes.
4.
5.
I'm out in this
Going
one.
once. Bo, you have a flight to catch.
Yeah. But was a flight
Actually,
at
my flight's delayed till 4:50. So
Okay.
Well,
Because you're making me nervous because it's 2:35.
yes.
we're like 5 minutes from the airport.
I know, and I'm not like a go to the airport early kind of person either. I cut it close, but I mean, this is, we're on item 2, a swooper here.
I had to finish our email exchange, write my picks, and spend quality time with my kids and my wife. So
Okay,
let's get rolling here. Yes.
5 going once, 5 going twice. Who got it? Zach.
Yep.
Sold to
5
Zach, yep.
sold. Okay.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that like a wind chill comes. I mean, a cold front comes in.
All right, Marissa, what do you got?
All right. Justin Fields and Jalen Hurts have a rushing touchdown. 1.
2.
And not or and.
And
3.
4.
I'll say
5.
5. Oh, okay. Zach got it first.
6.
6 going once. 6 going twice. Sold.
All right. I'll take that one. All right. Din is. There's some red. The item. The Eagles punt on fewer than 1/3 of their drives. Eagles are punting on 33.1% of their drives, which is 5th fewest, while the Bears are forcing punts on 33.3% of opponents' drives, which is 8th fewest. This is a sealed bid, top 2 pay auction. All 3 players privately write down their bids and then reveal them at the same time. The highest bidder wins the item and pays their bid. This second highest bidder also pays their bid without winning anything. The lowest bidder does not pay anything. If there is a 2-way tie for the highest bid, flip a coin to determine who wins the item. Both the winner and loser of the coin flip still pay their bid. There's a 3-way tie. Do a random drawing to determine all 3 positions. The winner wins the item and pays their bid. Second place wins nothing but pays their bid. And third place wins nothing and pays nothing. Again, the Eagles punt on fewer than 1/3 of their drives.
All right. Everybody ready?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, hold on. Okay, I'll just hold it up on my fingers.
No, that means she can't go higher than 10. That's interesting. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1. All right, Marissa 2, me 1, Zach 0. An absolute lock that Zach was going to go 0 there.
Yeah, I knew Zach was going to go 0, so I knew I was going to have to pay whatever I bid because.
Why did I bid 1 then? I'm just wasting 1. I was hoping.
I was going to do 1 too.
I should have done
honestly.
0 too because I knew that was a bad job.
Last second, I changed it to 2.
That's a bad job by me. Good job, Marissa.
Oh, finally, I've outsmarted. Well, I'm not going to say I've outsmarted Deniz because that's impossible, but usually I get burned on these. So
I don't know. In my mind, I was thinking I would get it for 1, and then that was stupid. Okay.
I was going to bid 1 too, so we would have been in that that tie scenario.
All right. I have a running back on either team leads the game in rushing. A running back on either team is the game's leading rusher. I'll say 2.
3.
3 going once. I'll say 4.
5.
I'm out on this one. 5 going once.
5 going twice. Sold.
To Zach for 5. Magic number 5.
Wow, that's a steal.
Okay, I'm up.
Yep.
Mhm.
Gardner Minshew plays on offense.
There was a lot of chat submissions about this.
Okay.
I'll go 4.
5. Nah, that was a weird thing I just did. I'm sorry.
I'll say 6.
7.
Wow. I'll go 8.
You both have 22 turkeys left.
Eagles have a short week ahead of them.
8 going once.
It's too rich for my blood.
8 going twice. Sold. That Louis
All right.
Vuitton. Okay.
All right. Okay. TJ Edwards has more tackles than the Bears' leading receiver has receptions.
Ooh, good one.
3.
4.
5. And this is total tackles, not solo
Yeah.
tackles.
On the game book.
On the
Mhm.
game book. Yep.
6.
7.
Ooh.
8. I feel like this
9.
is
Wow.
9. 9 going once. 9 going twice. Sold to Zach.
All right. Big TJ Edwards week.
Yeah, he's got to
Well-
get him when he writes about him.
And it's also I like swoopers when there's a 50-50, when it's one or the other,
Yes.
right? Something has to occur. So
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Lots of colors in this one too. The item. The punt, which is downed in the deepest fielded position in the game by either team, will be at a yard line which is greater than or equal to the lowest bid for this item, but less than or equal to the winning bid. Example, if the lowest bid is 3 and the highest bid is 12, this item hits if the deepest down punt is downed anywhere from the 3 to the 12-yard line. This is a sealed bid first price auction. All 3 players privately write down their bids and then reveal them at the same time. The highest bidder wins the item and pays their own bid. The other 2 players do not pay anything. Note, even though the losers don't pay anything, their bids still matter because the item itself is based on all of the bids. The higher the lowest bid, the less valuable the item is for the winner. If there's a 2-way tie for the highest bid, flip a coin to determine who wins the item. Only the winner pays their bid. If it is a 3-way tie, do a random drawing to determine who wins the item. Only the winner pays their bid.
Okay. Now, Marissa has 14 turkeys left. Zach has 13. I have 23.
Okay.
Okay.
How many do I have?
You have 14.
14. Okay.
All right. Ready?
Mhm.
3, 2, 1. What do you have there, Zach?
5.
5.
Oh,
I
me
have
too.
a 3. Marissa has 5. What did he say about a tie? It's a
Okay,
flip?
this is our first like tie scenario. If there's a two-way tie for the highest bid, flip a coin to determine who wins the item.
Ooh.
Only the winner pays their bid.
Does anyone have a coin?
My purse is actually right here, but I never have. Oh wait. Okay.
All
got
right,
a
so one
penny.
of you is gonna have to pay 5 for a punt being downed between the 3 and the 5-yard line.
Great.
Okay.
With the new punter. Well, it could
Or
be
could
either
be the
side.
team.
Okay, yeah. Okay, Zach,
You're
what
both
do you want?
rooting to lose this coin flip.
I want to lose this. Someone on the thing told me to bid high.
Well, 5 is not high.
I thought 5 was higher than I originally was going. 3.
What do you want?
Tails.
Tails. How do you do it? You like flip it and then like flip it over?
Yeah. Heads.
Heads.
So I win.
So you get it.
I was
Oh.
actually hoping to lose, not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
you did not want that one. That's tough.
Dang.
All right, punt between the 3 and the 5. What a pop that'll get if it happens.
Yeah, I was hoping that I lost that one.
Chad is telling us that Chase Claypool has been ruled out of this game for the Bears. Tough for them. All right, I'm up. A player in this game will finish either with a rushing total, a receiving total, or a passing total. This is a shout out to Tony Pauline that finishes in 69. So it could be 69 yards rushing. It could be 269 yards passing. Anything with 69 consecutively in their individual total counts for this.
1.
One going once.
2.
2 going once. 2 going twice. Sold to Zach.
Wow.
You,
Okay.
you naughty boy, you.
Oh, that's my temperature. The Eagles score more points than Joel Embiid scores in tonight's game against the Warriors. Okay. And so we'll know what that. So to give you context, Joel Embiid's last 5 games have been 35 points, 39 points, 38 points, 53 points, and 31 points. He is averaging on the season 33.3 points per game.
Okay. 1.
2.
3.
3 going once. Worst defense in the league. 3 going twice.
How many do I have left?
11.
And there's 2 more after this. I'll go
3
I'll go
going
4.
twice.
I'll go 4.
4 going once. 4 going twice. Sold to Zach. Down to 7. All right, Marissa, you're up.
I just got to make sure before I do this. Goddard is back officially?
No, not officially. They have until tomorrow to activate him to the 53, but they have an open spot on the 53-man roster.
Okay. So we're
He's
going
been
to
on the
assume he's
practice
back.
field this week. Yes.
Okay. So that bidding is fair. All right. Dallas Goedert has twice as many or more receptions as the Bears have sacks.
Okay. Bears do not have a lot of sacks themselves. 31st in sack rate on defense.
I had another one, but it was involving the double doink, and then another one was involving Devontae Smith and the weather. So I figured trying to make it different.
That's a good one, Devontae Smith and the weather.
The Devontae Smith one was good, but it would also like delay. It says Devontae Smith was caught in a hot mic or a press conference talking about, which we don't normally get.
Which
till,
happened
like,
in the Jaguars
days
game.
later.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I figured we had a doink one and we had a weather. Okay. So Dallas Goedert has twice as many receptions as Bears have sacks.
2.
I'll go 3.
Wait, twice. And I'm sorry, can it be more than twice as many?
Yes,
So it says,
or
okay.
more. Mhm.
Guys. 4.
5.
It's yours for 5. Unless Bo wants it.
5 going once, 5 going twice. Sold to Marissa.
Okay. All right. Item number 12. Can you take a guess what it is? The Eagles win the game. This is a regular auction, but unlimited borrowing from next week's turkeys is allowed for all bidders. If the Eagles cover the current spread, look it up now, and everyone agrees on
I think it's
8.5.
9. I think it's 9, actually.
It's at 9 right now.
The winner's turkeys will all be pardoned and refunded in full. So there are 3 possibilities. Win a point and get turkeys back. Win a point and do not get turkeys back. Win nothing and do not get any turkeys back.
So I'm just gonna say I think we should make it 8.5 so there's not a tie, right? And the line's 9.
If the line right now is 9, then the line is 9. You have to beat 9.
Okay, you have to beat 9. Okay, so it has.
And that's interesting because what would happen if it is? Well, no, it's
so
because
if
it
it's
says it
9
has to
points.
be covered. It has to be covered.
Because if it's 9 points, it's a push. Is my point. So.
Right. It does say if the Eagles cover the current spread.
Oh, okay. So
everyone, look it up now, and then the winners' turkeys will be pardoned and refunded in full.
Okay.
Okay.
And how many do each of us have going into this?
Marissa has 4. Zach has 7. I have 23.
Oof.
Okay.
4.
7.
Zach, your let's just one of you two is going to win this week. Let's look at who's got what. Zach has the temperature. The Bears score fewer points than the temperature. A running back leads the game in rushing. TJ Edwards has more tackles than the most catches by the Bears' leading receiver. The Eagles someone has a 69. And what was that last one? The Embiid one. Yes.
Yeah. The Eagles scored more points than Joel Embiid.
Marissa has a kick hit something. Both quarterbacks have a rushing touchdown. Fewer than a third of the Eagles' possessions end in punts. Gardner Minshew plays a snap. There's a punt between the 3 and the 5 yard line. Tough one. And Goddard has more than twice, or at least twice, the Bears' sacks. Right now, Zach has bid 7. 7 going once.
I'll do 8.
Marissa will do 8.
9.
$10.
See, I'm competing with Marissa now. Bo's sitting out, seems like. Bo wants to carry those turkeys over to next week. But I'm actually confident in them covering this week, and I do want to win. 11.
12.
13.
Ugh. All right, I think I'm out.
Okay, 13 it is.
13 going once, 13 going twice. Sold to Zach.
Oh, I was waiting for Bo to jump in and say 14.
13. That means he's borrowing 6 turkeys from next week for the Eagles to win the game. If they cover, he gets all 13 back.
Okay.
All right.
I like that.
That'll do it for Swooper. On to the crystal ball Eagle prediction. You've already said you think they're going to cover, so let's hear it.
Yes, I think the Eagles win and cover here. The Eagles are the better team, as we outlined. Better on both lines of scrimmages, which is the first thing I look at. Better at the skill spots. Very little that makes me think the Eagles have a chance of losing this game. And frankly, the only way the Bears keep it close is the Bears run the ball more than any team in the NFL this season. If time of possession just becomes slanted in their favor, or if the Eagles have untimely turnovers, I don't think the Eagles are looking ahead. I just think the Eagles are better. And as the Eagles have shown this year, they beat up on teams that they're better than usually. So I am going with Eagles 31, Bears 17. Eagles advance to 13-1 going into Christmas week game against Dallas.
All right. I'm with you. I think the Bears will make some things happen. I think they might have a few things cooked up coming out of the bye, maybe a trick play here or there. I think they might have an interesting, series of things to throw at the Eagles defense, maybe or Eagles offense early in the game. But I just like the talent disparity on that side of the ball, especially, is so wide. I think the Eagles are going to be able to do pretty much what they want on offense as long as they don't protect the ball. Or as long as they do protect the ball, I find it hard to believe that the Bears can keep pace. Now, they have played in a bunch of tight games. Everybody in the Eagles locker room kept bringing that up, that like all of their games are close. They've been in a bunch of one-score games, but I don't see it happening. And in terms of like a letdown game, I think the Eagles have sort of earned the benefit of the doubt here that's not going to happen. I think they will be able to go into Chicago and take care of business. I've got the Eagles 33-20, moving to 12-1, 13-1 on the season. All right. That'll do it for this episode of Birds with Friends. For Zach and Marissa and Louie, I'm Bo. We thank you for listening. We will talk to you after the game on Sunday. And as always, we love you.